Spectranet. Okay. James Destiny, hello. Welcome to Life's Journey. I'm going to take a few seconds to set up my IG live feed and we can begin. I'm having a bit of a challenge. I'm trying to connect to my Instagram live, then we can start. I don't know. Oops. Sorry, I just got a new phone and I didn't confirm that I could use this. So just 1 minute. IGTV. Okay. Manage. Done. I can't go live. I'm struggling. I can't go live. I just got this new phone today and I'm finding it difficult to use it. Please, can you just show this to Daddy Freeze quickly and tell him to see if he can connect to my IG live feed. So welcome everyone to Life's Journey. My name is Benedicta and this is Life's Journey. We're here every Saturday to discuss topical issues, to discuss issues that concerns us, matters happening in our environment, in our society, and the lessons that we have learned from them. While I wait for others to join in, thank you. By the way, that was a gift from Daddy Freeze. It was a belated birthday gift. So I got it today and I've been so busy. I've been working all day. I've not even had the time to look at it and be very sure that it is going to work on today's program. I was so eager to use it. That way, the crazy person that has been calling me for the past 3 weeks, whenever I start Life's Journey, my phone starts ringing. Person is not going to call me today because there's no SIM on that. There isn't a SIM on that phone. It's just connected to the internet. So I was so relieved and eager to use it, you know. So I'm going to be using that to broadcast on my Instagram, and I'm going to be using this one for my YouTube. So today's topic, I really can't wait to begin, but I want to see if I can get the phone in the next few minutes so I can start off with this topic. Okay, so I think it's the net activity. Let's see. Yes, I think I am live on my hello everyone. Softberry Graham, thank you for joining in. Nkembi, Dozy Dasi, Prince Abunamife Adi, thank you for joining in. The Real Crisello Bello, thank you for joining in. Caldo Cherry, hello. Kolobomasi, thank you for joining in. Sorry I'm starting a bit late. I had a bit of a network connectivity issue, plus the fact that I had a brand new phone today, my iPhone 12 Pro Max, which was a gift from Daddy Freeze, a belated birthday gift. So I wasn't sure I could use the phone, or rather I didn't get to check that I could use the phone. So it's up and running and we're live using that phone on my Instagram. So thank you all for joining in and thank you for your patience. I can't wait to get on with today's topic. Life's Journey is a program where we come here every Saturday to dissect topical issues that affect our daily lives, issues that a lot of people would rather shy away from rather than talking about them. But here on Life's Journey, we don't shy away from them, we discuss them. Because I believe that for every situation, for every event, for every story, there is a lesson to be learned from it. So on today's show, we are going to be discussing the rude boy and his very beautiful wife, Anita, situation. They are currently undergoing, or rather they are currently separated, and from what the reports are saying, they are getting ready to dissolve their union. It is a very trying period for them. It is a very trying period for any couple to bring their union to an end or to be separated. I have been there. I have gone through a divorce. My divorce was very contentious. Divorce in itself is difficult enough, not to mention a contentious divorce. So my prayers right now are with the family of Peter and Anita Okoye. I pray that they resolve their situation amicably and both parties would end up being happy with the results. So on today's topic, we are going to be discussing spousal support and child support during the pendency of a dissolution of marriage and beyond the divorce. Should spousal support and child support be given during the pendency of a dissolution of marriage and upon divorce? I want us to understand that in a dissolution situation or in a marital dissolution situation, you don't just walk into a high court or into a court and ask for a dissolution and you get a dissolution. There is always that period in between the time where the appeal or the case has been filed in the court and the duration is going to take for the high court judge to hear the case and give her judgment. Sometimes it can span between the period of 1 year to 15 years in the Nigerian High Court. From my own experience, mine spanned the period of almost 10 years, yes. My dissolution spanned the period of 10 years. So you can imagine, during that period, are the children supposed to go hungry? Should the children be left uncatered for? And if the children are to, who is to have responsibility for those children? Responsible for the welfare of those children. In the High Court of Nigeria, and even in the church, they will tell you that the welfare of the children solely lies on the shoulders of both father and mother. And in the case whereby the father has the higher income, or he is the one with higher income in the marriage, the court is supposed to ask that he makes a certain amount of money available for the mother to cater for the child. Now, remember, in a situation where the divorce is not contentious, both parents are supposed to have access to the children. They are supposed to jointly raise, even while the divorce case is in the High Court, But here in the Nigerian setting, we find out that in most cases, during the pendency of a dissolution of marriage, the children are not catered to. In my own situation, while my divorce case was in court, I didn't get 1 naira. When I mean 1 naira, I didn't get 1 naira in form of child support from the father of my children. I didn't get a dime for housing or feeding, just name it. I had to bear the responsibility of taking care of my children for the period of 10 years. Yes, I didn't get anything in form of child support. My lawyers made this known to the High Court judge while the case was in court, and she said all parties should be patient until she imagined that I didn't have any source of income. My children would have suffered tremendously, because in my own situation, my ex-marriage was contentious. I wanted joint custody. My ex wanted sole custody. So it was contentious. Now, the High Court, I believe, is supposed to make provision for the children to be catered for. And it is not just in my case, in many cases that I have seen. Not in all cases, but in many cases in the Nigerian setting. If the woman doesn't have the source of income to take care of the children while that marriage is going through the dissolution process, she and the children will starve to death. Her only other option will be to hand over the children to the man, hand over the children to their father. We have to change the stereotype. That is why I'm doing this show. We really have to change the stereotype. First, we have to change the stereotype and ensure that child support is given. Spousal support is also given. But let's even look at the child support. For me, in a dissolution where children are involved, the best interest of the children is what should be of utmost importance. But here in Nigeria, here in our society, that hasn't even been taken care of. It is not, you don't have 100% guarantee that should you file for a dissolution from the Nigerian court, that during the pendency of that dissolution, that your children would have child support from their father or have child support from their mother. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we have the mother having the higher income in the family. So if the mother is the one having the higher income in the family and the children happen to be living with the father, which is rarely the case in our society, but let's assume that that is the case, the woman should be made to give child support to the husband. Whoever has the custody, or what I mean by custody, whoever has the temporary custody of the children during the dissolution of that marriage should be given child support. But it's so sad that in this part of the world, divorce is usually contentious. If the man doesn't want a divorce situation and the woman is the one filing for the divorce, she's not going to get the child support. And we have seen so many times that the courts are not enforcing it. Because I know that the Marital Causes Act that was enacted in 1970, the Nigerian Marital Causes Act that was enacted in 1970, primarily governs the dissolution of marriage, the welfare of children, and settlement of properties. That law was enacted in 1970. We have all seen how it works, and we know that it is time for this law to be amended. There are so many anomalies concerning this marital. Out of this, the laws are not enforced when we have defaulters. Why should children suffer because two grown adults have decided to go their separate ways? Why should they suffer? First of all, they are going through so much emotional hurt. They are going through so much psychological damage as a result of the dissolution. Why should they now suffer physically as a result of lack of finances? Why? This aspect of our law has to be looked into. Before we even go on and say how much is too much in terms of child support, spousal support, or how much is too little, we have to address the fact that it does not even exist. It is not even being carried out to the letter. Before you complain about something being too much or something being too little, that thing has to be existent. It has to be in existence. So the question here is it even existing? Do we have spousal support and child support in our country, Nigeria? There is a provision for it in the law according to the Marital Causes Act that was enacted in 1970. But is this law being enforced? We see a lot of men and women with financial prowess beating the system and bullying the lesser candidate. If you are in a dissolution situation and your wife happens to be the one with the financial upper hand, or your husband happens to be the one with the finances, most often than not, he's going to get away with murder. That is the reality that a lot of us do not want to talk about. We see a lot of pretty young girls that get married to very wealthy men. If for whatever reason they get tired of that marriage and they want out, they are not going to be able to come out, because the rich man is going to dangle those children in her face, and she's going to have to sign an ultimatum. It's either you withdraw the dissolution suit in the High Court, or I'll take away your children from you. That is always the case. So in the case of Anita and Rude Boy, the debate has been, oh, why is she asking for $15,000? $15,000 is too much. Was she not married in Nigeria? They were married in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt. We use Naira in Nigeria. We don't use dollars in Nigeria. You see, the situation of, or rather the case of, the money is too much, the child support or the spousal support is too much or too little, is not for the public to decide. It's for the parties involved in this dissolution suit to decide. First of all, they are the only ones that know what their financial capability is. They are the ones that understand the lifestyle that the children of the marriage has been exposed to. If, for example, the children were used to having a summer vacation once every year, going to Disney, Butlins, you know, all those holidays like my children were going then, when there's a dissolution, both parties should still ensure that these children can still have this life that they have been exposed to, irrespective of the fact that they no longer want to continue with the marriage. It is the duty, it is the responsibility of the court to ensure that this is put in place. We don't want to know what is too much or too little, because we are not in their bank accounts. We abroad, when they were going to very fancy schools and having fancy birthday parties, Solution shouldn't, the solution doesn't mean that the lives of the children should come to an end. So if Anita Okoye feels that the lifestyle that they have been exposed to, in order for her to be able to maintain it, she will be needing $15,000 to do that. That is left for her and Peter Okoye to decide. Is not for us to jump into the arena with them. It is unfair. And in her own situation, from what we have read in the media, she's no longer in the country presently. She's now in a country where she has to spend the currency in dollars. She's not going to be spending Naira, going to Lion King or Walmart. Nobody's going to be receiving her Naira. She has to spend dollars. So you have to think about the cost of renting a house, the car, logistics and everything. And do not forget that should the spouse decide not to remarry, she is entitled to spousal support according to our legal system, according to our Marital Causes Act. The wife or the husband is entitled to spousal support if he or she refuses to remarry. Yes. So whoever has the higher income is going to be mandated to give to whoever has the lower income. That is how it works. If the rest of the world has embraced this method of marriage dissolution, what are we waiting for in Nigeria? Why is our own case different? My case must be different. Why? My own case is different. Why is your own case? Why is our own case different? Why are we allowing our women to suffer uncontrollably? Why? Our own case must not be different. Paul Okoye and Anita Okoye should be allowed to decide what is too much or what is too little, because we do not know their account balance and we do not know for sure the kind of lifestyle that their children have been exposed to during the course of their marriage. But my own cry today is that we should enforce these laws. It is in our constitution. We have provision for spousal support. We have the provision for child support. We have the provision for settlement of properties between the divorcing parties. Let us stop enabling the financially empowered party to get away with murder. Let us hold our judiciary to the task of ensuring that the rightful thing is done in all cases. Women are suffering in Nigeria. I am not telling you from hearsay. I am not telling you from what I read in the books. I am telling you of what I have seen with my own eyes during the 10-year period, almost 10-year period, that I had to attend courts for the dissolution of my own marriage. I met a lot of women, and I can tell you that women are going through hell. If you do not have the financial capacity to cater for yourself and your children, and you find yourself in a contentious divorce battle, if you survive it, if you come out of it alive, you will know that you are specially favored by God. If you come out of it alive, and if you come out of it without your children being scarred, then you know you have the special favor of God. That is why in this part of the world, we need to pray for everything. Everything is a prayer. If we had our laws in place and we had them what do you mean? If we had defaulters being held accountable, we will not need to pray for a dissolution situation. You just go to court, send in your suit, and then you go the day you're needed in the box, and it's going to be dissolved. Both parties, most of the time, are supposed to have joint custody of the children, except in a peculiar situation whereby either of the parties have a drug abuse problem, or they are into some illegal business activities or illegal lifestyle, or either of the party has a mental situation. If they are having mental challenges, if the mother is on some therapy for mental health issues, or the father is on therapy for some mental health issues, then the other party that is physically and mentally fit would now have sole custody. But in most cases, if both parties are mentally and physically stable, they end up having joint custody of the children. So why beat yourself up? Why be in a contentious divorce when at the end of the day, both of you are still supposed to have joint custody of the children? Why not just sit down, have a sit down, and decide how much you can bring for the welfare of the children, and how much you're willing to give for your spouse, for spousal support? It is as simple as that. Mine was a contentious divorce. Everything I could do to ensure that we had joint custody proved futile. I begged, I wrote emails, begged family members, friends, everybody, please tell this man, I want a divorce, but I want us to share the custody of these children so they can go back and forth. And his response till tomorrow as I speak is no, no, no. I want sole custody of the children. Why? Why would you want to sever a mother from the children, or sever a father from the children? If it is not share wickedness, why would you want to do that? I call it a bullying situation. You feel you're financially stronger than the other party, and you're going to use your finances to frustrate the other party. That is it. That is always the case. Most of the time in Nigeria, men that have the finances want to bully the women out of the way and take the children. That shouldn't be the way forward. We are in 2021, people. The world has moved on. People should start having divorce parties. Bake a divorce party cake. Cut that cake. After all, when you were having this wedding, you invited the whole world. You had this big wedding cake, champagne fountain. So now you are embarking on a dissolution. Why not call for a party? If you wouldn't call for a party because you feel it's a bit over the top, why not dissolve the union peacefully for the sake of the children? I want our men to start thinking clearly, to start seeing the solution for what it is. We are no longer compatible. We can no longer tread on the same path. It doesn't mean we hate each other. It doesn't mean we are not appreciative of the beautiful children that we now have. Let us put our heads together and see how we can best care for the offsprings. Remember, the best interest of the children should be paramount at all times in a dissolution situation. That is what should matter. And please, let us allow Paul and Anita Okoye to go through this phase of their lives in peace. They are in my prayers, and I plead with you all to put them in your prayers. Children are involved. Very young children are involved. I have been on this path, and it's not an easy journey for the parents, and it's not an easy journey for the children, especially They need our prayers. In as much as I encourage dissolution of marriage in a toxic union, I also encourage the dissolution to be amicable. The dissolution should be amicable. The process should be as easy as possible. I don't wish anyone going through divorce to experience it. It is a nightmare. I was there. It is a nightmare. So please, let us put this family in our prayers and stop bothering about how much is too much, how much is too little. And for those of you that are in the judiciary, those of you that are in the legislature, please, I am begging you. The Marital Causes Act that was enacted in 1970 should be amended. There are too many loopholes in it. These loopholes are making our women to suffer tremendously. These loopholes are making people that have no business being in a marriage to continue to dwell in a union hypocritically. And they continue to do so until one person kills the other, or one person harms the other in such a manner that they can never recoup. This is not right. Please, if you're in the legislature, you're in the judiciary, you have the power to push the amendment that is long overdue. Help us to do this. We want to have a better society. We want to have a society where men and women can freely marry and freely divorce, easily divorce. If it's not working, they come out of it without having to harm the other party, without having to harm each other. Please, we have too many children with false paternity in marriages. As a result of this, it is almost impossible to come out of a toxic union here in Nigeria because of the way we look at divorce. We have to destigmatize divorce. We have to destigmatize divorce so people that are really in a toxic union can come out of it unashamedly. They can just come out of it. Now, Oye BC says, divorce is very tough, especially if the children and properties are involved. It's even worse in Nigeria. Oye.bc, you couldn't have hit the nail on the head. I was a victim. My factory was involved. My factory land, factory that I built with my hands. My bakery, my yogurt company, my catering factory. The street is named after me, Dictachi, that's my street in Port Harcourt. It was involved in the property settlement. It was hell. As I'm talking to you, I still have 3 different cases concerning that property in Port Harcourt. And I still have lawyers going to court every day on top of my properties. So when you're talking about property sharing and property settlement in a dissolution suit, I can tell you for free, it is not a walk in the park. And that is why we have to pray for this family. They need our prayers. They need our support. Sean_led says, why us men treat women badly, I no understand. We all born by women. Oh, I'm sounding like Tupac. Sean_led, I don't know, I really don't know. Not all divorces should end in hatred and bitterness. Sometimes 2 people grow apart. Maybe both of you are going on a different journey and life path. That is a very intellectual way Sean_leads to look at it. Sometimes you are on a journey with someone and it gets to a junction where you now realize that you can no longer continue to walk on the same path. You don't have to hate each other for it. Just move on. Pat each other on the back, wish each other well, and move on. For all you know, your whole future is waiting for you. You just might end up being a better person than you were when you were in that union. People should stop holding on to things that have failed. Open your hearts, open your minds to new possibilities, to greatness. Vicky.Suleiman said, "It happened to my cousin. Her husband took their 5 children from her and asked them not to visit their mom." Vicky.Suleiman, that is usually the case here in Nigeria. Our men are still stuck in that belief system that children belong only to the man. The children are the property of the man. When the woman doesn't want to continue in the union anymore, she is meant to drop the children, pick up her suitcase, and leave the house with nothing. When I mean with nothing, for example, in my previous marriage, my ex-husband never bought me a car. Never ever bought a car in my name. All the cars in the house were his. They were all bought in his name, but I was free to drive any car that I wanted. So when I was leaving, I had to buy myself a brand new Kia Rio. You know that small red Kia Rio? I had to buy myself a brand new Kia Rio, and I left with the Kia Rio because I couldn't take what did not belong to me. I even had to leave 70% of my belongings because I wanted to live with my children. It was a contentious divorce. He wasn't going to allow me to share the children. He wanted me to leave them and just live alone. So I felt living with the children, then begging family and friends and relatives and everybody to keep going back to beg him to accept my condition. We share the holidays 50-50. Whenever you are in town and you want to see the children, just send me a note. Just a note. I am coming on so day. I would like to see my children. And I'll bring them to you. That was all I asked for. That was all I wanted. But I never got it. For 10 years of begging, crying, fighting, going to court, till tomorrow I never got it. So it's a Nigerian mentality. Most men believe that when a woman leaves, she has to leave the children. He even went as far as going to my village, reporting me to my umunas, the elders in my village. You know, in Igbo culture, if you marry traditionally alone in the Igbo culture, upon dissolution, the woman is supposed to leave the children for the husband, especially if they are male children. You're supposed to leave them for the traditional culture. Again, I married to my ex in the High Court, and the jurisdiction of the High Court is superior to that of the traditional law. So I had to use the High Court marriage to counter the woman in my village. And I told them, I am not under your traditional laws because I married that man in the High Court. So you all are just going to relax. You're just going to chill and allow the court to do its duty. So I will not subject myself to the laws of the village. And so I didn't listen to the woman in my village, and I didn't return the children. I said we're going to go through with it in the High Court where the union was officiated. Because in my humble opinion, we both should have joint custody. I cannot allow you to have sole custody. It takes 2 to make a child. Why should I give you sole custody? So if you're a woman and you're being bullied to give sole custody, it is wrong. I'm telling you today, it is your right as a mother to raise your children. You have the right to contribute to their life. Don't let any man bully you into handing over your children and disappearing into the tin wind. That is what they always want you to believe. The children belong to the man. The woman can see them in a play park or in Mr. Biggs. That was what I was told. Just give me the children. Whenever you want to see them, I will arrange for you people to have lunch. Imagine handing over your children to a man, and then whenever you want to see them, you will have to write a note, and then they will bring the children for you to see them in a restaurant or to see them in a play park. Don't let any man do that to you. Don't. And for you to be able to fight it, you have to be financially capable, you have to be mentally sound, and you have to be emotionally ready. It's an emotional battle. You have to fight it. The love you have for your children is what is going to push you, keep you going on. So Vicky.Suleiman, I understand what they did to your sister, and I hope she was able to fight for her own share of her custody rights, because she has a role to play in the lives of her children. A man cannot fill the void of a mother, and a mother cannot fill the void of a man. Both of you are responsible for raising those children. Sean_led says, a change of mentality is needed in Nigeria. The ideology that a man owns a woman is what affects the marital law. That is it. Sole ownership, total ownership. Once we divorce, or once you leave me, you cannot get married to another man. And that's what happened to me. The ultimatum I was given was, should I ever want to see my children, or should I wish for my children to live under my roof, I must never remarry. I must never ever remarry, because as a Nigerian man, you are not, your children are not allowed to be raised under the roof of another man. So if a Nigerian woman divorces and she wishes to remarry, she has to hand over the children of her previous marriage to her former husband. That is the mentality of ownership that we have to begin to dispel. We have to begin to break. Women are not properties. They are not owned. They are not meant to be owned. A woman should have autonomy of her own body. Every woman should have autonomy of her own body. We are not slaves. We're not meant to be owned. And that is why I would not support a dowry ceremony to be done for any of my daughters. Should they wish to get married, they should go to the High Court and get married. A man paying as much as 1 naira as dowry on your head symbolizes the fact that he owns you. He has paid for you like a cow, and he owns you. That was how I was very happy when my father returned my dowry. My dowry was, what was paid for my dowry was 7,500 naira, but my father refunded 10,000 naira. Because I remembered when he was collecting the dowry, he said his children, his daughters, were not for sale, and being a pensioner, he doesn't want an exorbitant dowry. So the day you beat his daughter, it will be very easy for him to count the 7,000 naira and refund. My elder sister, her dowry was 5,000 naira. My dowry was 7,000 naira. And the sister after me, her dowry was 10,000 naira. So it's very easy. You can't be too broke that you cannot refund 7,000 naira. Do you understand? You can't be too broke that you can't refund 7,000 naira. So it was very easy for my father to return the 7,000 naira. My child is not bought. This is your money with interest, 10 naira. So please, my children, nobody is paying dowry on their head. Then tomorrow you come and tell them, I own you. I own you, and I own every proceed from your body. The children are the proceed. Abi? I was told that I was married as a copper. You know, I had nothing, you know. I just finished school. So please, 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 please. I don't want to hear dowry. For me, that's my stand. I don't want to hear dowry. And I would not encourage my sons to pay dowry for anybody. Go to the court. Go and get married. If you dissolve the marriage, you divorce, go to the court. Nobody should be bought. Nobody is anybody's slave. We are all free beings. We came into this world separately. When you were coming into this world, you came out holding your mother's umbilical cord. Your husband wasn't tied to it. So, why are you his slave? If you're a woman and you've been thinking that, oh, because this man paid my dowry, he's the owner of me, I want you to start changing that mindset. Nobody owns you. God only that created you owns you. Yes. Only God owns you. Not even your earthly parents own you. They are your guardians. God has entrusted you in their hands for them to guide your paths. They don't own you. That is why at a certain age, your parents can only advise. They can't kill you if you refuse to take their advice. Because they don't own you. So why should a man now own you? Women, wake up, oh. You're not slaves and you're not a commodity. Please. Vicky Suleiman said, a lot married because they said love the lady, but when it doesn't work, they leave them to suffer and die. Please tell me where that first that have for her to be the mother of children. I don't understand that really. I am Emmanuel Michael says, at oye.bc, absolutely right. You have said it all. Oye.bc says, contested divorce is always brutal. Very brutal. Very, very brutal. Very, very brutal. So thank you all for joining in. And please remember to put Paul and Anita Okoye in your prayers and their children. They are going through a very rough patch at this period. We want everything to be resolved. We want the situation to be resolved amicably. And we do not want those children to suffer. Please put them in your prayers. And for those of you that are currently experiencing a contentious divorce, my prayers are with you. And for those of you that are currently in a toxic union, please begin to think of an exit plan. I wouldn't want you to die in that union, please. Think of an exit plan. Divorce is not the end of the world. YouTube channel, I have a lot of goodies, so a lot of new programs that will be coming up shortly, very, very soon. I'm working on a lot. I'm working on a lot of programs that will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. So subscribe and remember to hit that notification bell. So each time I have a new video upload, you will be the first to be notified. See you same time next week and stay blessed. Love you all and love anyone that loves you. It is a beautiful thing to be in love. Don't forget that. Bye-bye.